This is Surah Al-Ma'un, in which Allah warns us against reprehensible characteristics that Muslims should avoid so as not to resemble the polytheists. Allah begins with an opening that captures attention, saying, "Have you seen the one who denies the religion? Have you seen a person who denies the day of judgment? Certainly you see with your own eyes many disbelievers who deny the day of religion." This rhetorical question is not meant literally, as this is an obvious matter. The purpose is to express amazement and disapproval of this act, like saying, "Have you seen one who curses his parents?" spoken in condemnation, as if incredulous that such a person exists in the world. Similarly, this verse condemns those who deny the day of judgment. Allah says, "Have you seen the one who denies the religion?" as if it were amazing that anyone would actually deny the day of religion. This is disapproval of such a despicable act. Where is his mind, his natural disposition? Does he think Allah created people aimlessly, that some kill, commit idolatry, commit adultery and steal, while others do good, give charity, and honor others, then all die with no reckoning, no paradise, no hell? This contradicts natural disposition, reason, and wisdom. Allah then reveals the true nature of the one who denies the day of judgment, for religion means reckoning, as Allah says, "And what can make you know what is the day of judgment? Then what can make you know what is the day of judgment? It is the day when no soul will possess for another soul anything, and the command that day is with Allah." Allah reveals the nature of the denier of the day of religion, saying not that he denies resurrection or this or that, but rather that is the one who drives away the orphan and does not encourage the feeding of the poor. The text reveals the connection between belief and morality through the example of those who deny Judgment Day. Such people drive away orphans with harshness and violence, showing no mercy to those who deserve compassion after losing their fathers. Their punishment will match their cruelty, being driven into hell's fire just as they drove away the vulnerable. These individuals also refuse to encourage feeding the poor, not just failing to give themselves but actively discouraging others due to their extreme greed and hatred of charitable acts. True believers, however, reach the highest levels of kindness and generosity because their sound belief in the last day motivates them to care for orphans and the poor. They give food despite their own need for it, seeking only Allah's pleasure without expecting worldly rewards or gratitude, fearing the austere day of judgment. This demonstrates how genuine belief in divine reckoning naturally produces compassion, generosity, and good character, as believers know they will find their reward with Allah, with the Prophet promising that guardians of orphans will be close to him in paradise. Then Allah threatens these people, saying, "So woe," meaning punishment and destruction. He did not say so woe to them, but completed mentioning their ugly characteristics. So woe to those who pray. You wonder how Allah threatens those who pray. This pause here, because this is the end of a verse you can stop at, is for creating suspense so your heart is drawn to wonder how Allah says, "So woe to those who pray." Of course, it would be inappropriate for an imam to recite, "So woe to those who pray," then bow in prayer. This is not permissible as it corrupts the meaning. But you stop, then complete, "So woe to those who pray, who are heedless of their prayer." Some of the early Muslims said, "Praise be to Allah, who said, who are heedless of their prayer," and did not say heedless in their prayer. If he had said in their prayer, we would have perished. For who among us does not become distracted in his prayer? This is not the intended meaning. Who are heedless of their prayer. As for distraction in prayer, no human is free from this. Even the Prophet was distracted in prayer, and this is corrected by prostration of forgetfulness. Perhaps a person's thoughts go to worldly matters during prayer, but as long as he struggles against himself, he is in a good state. But the problem is in not caring about prayer, as Allah says, "Who are heedless of their prayer." The preposition of indicates turning away, meaning they turned away from it without care, leaving it behind their backs. So, those who are heedless of their prayer means they do not care about prayer. This has several forms. One who abandons prayer entirely falls under this verse, and the Prophet says, "The covenant between us and them is prayer. Whoever abandons it has disbelieved." The hypocrites would pray for show with the Muslims, but when alone in private, they would abandon prayer entirely. Therefore, some early Muslims interpreted this verse as referring to hypocrites who are heedless of their prayer. Another form is one who abandons prayer until its time expires, wasting the prayer time. Mus'ab ibn Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas asked his father about those who are heedless of their prayer when reading Quran to him. The child asked his father about the meaning. See how the Quran develops a child's mind and makes him reflect on Allah's book. He asked, is it abandoning prayer? He said, no, but wasting its time. Now some people sleep and set their alarm for work after sunrise, not caring whether they pray Fajr on time or not. Someone returns tired from work and does not pray Asr except after Maghrib. This is a serious matter. The Prophet's vision revealed severe punishments for those who neglect their religious duties, showing a man whose head was repeatedly crushed with a rock, representing one who takes the Quran but rejects it and sleeps through obligatory prayers. Islamic scholars identify multiple forms of prayer negligence: delaying prayers beyond their prescribed times, performing prayers mechanically without proper attention to pillars and conditions, like birds pecking, and praying with an absent heart filled with worldly distractions rather than focus on Allah. The Prophet described hypocrites' prayers as combining all these failings: delaying until sunset, rushing through movements like a crow, and barely remembering Allah. Such people pray only for show and recognition from others, which the Prophet called lesser polytheism and feared more than the Antichrist itself. This represents terrible conduct before Allah, standing physically in His presence while the heart seeks human approval, demonstrating both poor manners toward God and failure to serve His creation through genuine worship. Assistance indicates ease and facility, all good deeds that are easy for generous souls. This includes charity, lending household items to neighbors, providing water to those in need, and offering simple services that cost nothing. The companions said assistance meant the bucket, the axe, and the pot, easy matters that only base people would refuse. Some interpreted it as any easy favor a Muslim requests, even intangible services that cost nothing. The chapter's end returns to its beginning. Those who deny the religion, drive away orphans, and discourage feeding the poor are the same ones who withhold assistance. Refusing what causes no harm while knowing a brother urgently needs it reveals heart disease. The Prophet mentioned among three whom Allah will not address on Judgment Day, a man with excess water who prevents it from the traveler. We ask Allah to guide us to the best character, making the Quran the spring of our hearts,